Hello, and welcome to Starting Points, where one thing leads to another. Here's an example. Last time we were looking at David Attenborough, Life on Earth, and the lemurs. And here's what he says. Oddest and most specialized of all, that's the lemurs, is the eye. Its body is about the size of that of an otter. It has black shaggy fur, a bushy tail, and large membranous ears. One finger on each hand is enormously elongated and seemingly withered, so that it's become a bony, articulated probe. With this, the eye extracts beetle larvae, its main food, from their holes in rotten wood. Well, I thought, now, isn't that something, the main food, beetle larvae, rotten wood. People would think in an urban area, that tree's gotten rotten, well, let's get rid of it, it's cut it down, take it rid. But in the case of the eye, who moves in when it's rotten? Beetles move in. It's easier for them to bore in. It's easier for them to lay their eggs. And then for the larvae, it's easier for the larvae to eat the wood that's breaking down, decomposing as its food. So it's all one thing leads to another. That's ecology. That's life, and on our planet, on Earth. And sometimes we don't know what those connection points are. Sometimes something magical happens. This is a book I read to a grade 5 class. We were looking at Africa, and this is called A Search for a Living Fossil, the story of the coelacanth. It's by Eleanor Clymer. Now, Eleanor Clymer wrote a book called Horse in the Attic. And our third son and our daughter both really enjoyed that novel by her. But this is nonfiction. And she got intrigued by this story because by being nonfiction, it's true. And the story starts December 22nd, 1938. Shortly before the Second World War, a fishing boat has been out far in the sea, pulling up its nets. In the net, they found this fish that nobody on the crew, captain down, had ever seen or could imagine anything like this fish that they brought up. And it stayed alive for a long time, gulping on the deck as the deck was heading into East London, a fishing town on the coast of South Africa. Now, in that town, it was a smallish town, but in that town, they had a small little local natural history museum. And the curator of that museum was a Miss M.C. Courtney Latimer. And she was a very curious woman. When they don't do anything to this fish, but they send somebody to let her know and to bring a wheelbarrow. And they load this fish off onto the wheelbarrow. She takes it back and tries to record everything she can about the fish. And her reference books don't show anything about what this fish is. So she gets in touch with an expert, and his books don't show anything about what this is. So it's a great mystery and a true story. It was also published in paperback. And here's a true story too. The life of George Schaller. Now, I've shown this to you before because his first real study was about gorillas, but he also did the Bengal tiger, studying about it as its numbers were decreasing. Already with decreased numbers, the snow leopard, and he spends 5 years in China helping on studies about the panda. And it's a little map, shows where he was in regards near the Tibetan plateau, but this is high up mountainous land and in central China from 1980 to 1985. One of the biggest problems, the government had conducted a survey and found that there were only about 1,000 pandas left in the wild, and it sought research help, and George is part of that help. And so one of the problems is that the diet of the panda bear is extremely limited. It's gotten itself down to subsisting on bamboo, the young shoots, the leaves, even the stalk parts it eats. And sometimes that bamboo dies off. And the pandas been fortunate in finding a solution for it, but in some cases they haven't. And during a period of limited food supplies, hundreds of them have died of starvation. So natural changes plus being poached and sold primarily to zoos. The Young Explorer's book shows the panda. All the photos show the panda in the zoo. It's there's with basketballs and so it's entertainment for people, and they get to see a panda, but it's not in the wild. So there's a group called Save Our Species, SOS, that's put out a story of the panda, and it includes a photo of George Schaller with helping people. Oh, here it is here, as a matter of fact. And so that work is going on, and hopefully it will be successful. This is fiction. It's a novel by David Day, a Canadian writer, illustrated by a Canadian artist, Eric Beddoes, with pencil. All these detailed illustrations that enrich the book in pencil. The Emperor's Panda, sort of a Tolkien-like good and evil journey, forces, magic rings, things like that. It's beautifully told, and one of the most lyrical, enchanting children's books ever produced, Maclean's Magazine, is a Canadian publisher, but fortunately The American Library Association book list says beautifully conceived, well-told story of enchantment, Publishers Weekly. So other readers, and I'll endorse it, and I've had students endorse it to me, said, you know, that's a really good story. And so for students that maybe 10 years old who like that quest-like story, this is a neat book. Well, thanks for joining me. Until next time, bye for now.